afternoon. I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, October 2nd. The Inner Harbor desalination plant, put on an indefinite hold last month, is back on the drawing board with Corpus Christi City Council. The facility is among several water supply projects listed on the agenda for a scheduled workshop tomorrow. The estimated $1.2 billion project, planned to generate as much as 30 million gallons of treated water daily, was paused after Council majority voted to turn down a contract extension with Kiewit Infrastructure South. The city of Corpus Christi has already spent $50 million on the plant and must repay about $231 million in bonds issued for the project. Meanwhile, preliminary negotiations broke down this week between the Nueces County Sheriff Officers Association and the County Commissioners Court.
We've taken zeros in the past, but you know what? That time is come and gone, and we're just not comfortable with taking zeros anymore. And like I said before, frankly, that's a slap in the face to every single man and woman that dons that officer's uniform.
That was Mark Villarreal, president of the County Sheriff Officers Association, which represents the county's law enforcement officers. Union leaders told KIII News that deputies deserve raises after years of lowered pay.
We can never pay law enforcement and first responders what they actually do. They put their lives on the line every day, and there's not a value you can put on a life. They go into houses, they go into situations that we only read about and gasp, and they have to see that they live with it, and they deal with and live with those repercussions afterwards as well.
On the other side of the discussion, that was Nueces County Commissioner Precinct 3 John Mares, courtesy of KIII. The stagnating pay has been tied to county budget shortfalls. Commissioners say they'll continue to review costs and options before next week's Commissioners' Court meeting. Lieutenant Jason Martin, who has served with the Victoria Police Department for more than 20 years, announced his retirement this week. Martin told 25 News Now joining the police force was his way of giving back to the community he calls home. Martin said that while he is stepping away from law enforcement, he plans to remain active in the city. He said retirement will allow him time to spend with his family and focus on his second career as an author. Victoria County District Judge Eli Garza is seeking re-election for a fourth term in the 377th Judicial District Court. Garza has a decade of experience in the role. He kept the courts operating throughout the pandemic and said his case resolution rate has topped 95% every year. Garza serves as chair of the Juvenile Board and makes presentations at Texas A&M Victoria and other schools to teach students about the judicial system. He was first elected in 2014 after serving as first assistant criminal DA for Victoria County. Prior to his time as a prosecutor, Garza was a criminal defense attorney representing clients in state and federal courts. The city of Corpus Christi will accept applications for the minor home repair program beginning Tuesday and will run through October 21st. 35 grants of up to $25,000 are available for very low-income seniors, persons with disabilities, veterans, or veteran surviving spouses. The grants can cover critical minor home repairs, including roofing, plumbing, electrical work, HVAC systems, and accessibility modifications. Applications must be completed online. More information is available at corpuschristitx.gov under the Planning and Community Development page. In state news, federal judges in El Paso are considering whether Texas can move forward with Republican-favored congressional maps. Blaze Gainey has more from the courtroom.
A panel of 3 federal judges began hearings Wednesday on Texas' new congressional maps. Plaintiffs argue the maps intentionally reduce the influence of minority voters by removing coalition districts where communities of color make up the majority. The state denies that, saying the maps were legally drawn and simply give Republicans an advantage, something courts have previously allowed. If upheld, the maps could add up to 5 new GOP seats in Congress, a move President Donald Trump urged Governor Greg Abbott to push through earlier this year. In El Paso, I'm Blaze Gainey.
Yesterday was the first day of the latest government shutdown. Border Patrol agents and other law enforcement worked the border without pay. Border Report says the nation's 20,000 agents are considered essential personnel who, along with the military, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and Immigration Customs Enforcement officers, are required to show up to work regardless when their next paycheck will arrive. Agents patrol the border in the normal fashion and amount. In August, the Rio Grande Valley sector encountered the most migrants on the border of any sector in the Southwest. While the federal government has shut down, many essential federal workers remain on the job, although they're unpaid. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider looks at what this means for Texas ports.
The vast bulk of Customs and Border Protection personnel who are responsible for inspecting imports should continue to show up, at least in the short term. But that could change if the shutdown drags on for several weeks, according to Margaret Kidd, a lecturer on supply chain issues at the University of Houston.
The last time there was a government shutdown, it lasted 35 days from December 2018 to January of 2019. It did impact the economy. Estimated first quarter gross domestic product was reduced by about $8 billion.
The longer the shutdown lasts, the greater the risk that essential personnel will start to call in sick, leading traffic to back up at the ports. Texas ports support roughly 2.5 million jobs statewide, according to an analysis by the Texas Ports Association. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Beeville ISD have signed an agreement for the Islander Academy Dual Credit Program. Select A.C. Jones High School students will have the opportunity to explore careers in land surveying and geospatial engineering. Beeville ISD is the first district in the region to offer students access to courses within that field through Islander Academy. The opportunity builds on the proven success of Klein ISD near Houston, where enrollment is booming and graduates have continued into related careers or degree programs via TAMU-CC. Additional Islander Academy partners include Flower Bluff ISD, Gregory Portland ISD, Incarnate Word Academy, and Rockport Fulton ISD. Sunset Lake in Portland has seen a rise of invasive plants on its grounds, particularly salt cedar. The city is partnering with the Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program for the project, which is set to begin this Monday. Portland Public Works Director Kenneth Banks told KIII News that trained crews will be brought in to remove the invasive plants by hand while preserving native plants. Officials said that salt cedar left unchecked can spread rapidly with negative results on the local ecosystem, not to mention it's also a fire hazard. Sunset Lake is composed of over 300 acres and serves as both a park and wetland habitat in between Corpus Christi and Portland. Experts say hundreds of birds die each year from colliding into buildings in downtown Dallas. It's the third worst city in the country for bird deaths. One building in particular, the Cape Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, is especially deadly. As KERA's Pablo Aros-Peña reports, advocates are pushing Dallas to make the new convention center more bird-friendly.
It's just past dawn at the Cape Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center in downtown Dallas when a group of volunteers finds a fallen bird underneath the building's skywalk. They try to identify the lifeless orange and green bird.
I think so, yeah.
Is it female?
Actually, maybe an Oriole. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
These volunteers are with a coalition of environmental groups that regularly track bird deaths. Mei-Ling Liu is with the Texas Conservation Alliance. She says this part of the convention center with its high reflective windows is especially problematic.
The volunteers will kind of check, depends on the window height, we'll check on the ground and see if we find any collisions.
Millions of bird species fly through Texas each fall and spring on their migration from north to south and back. Each season, Liu and the other volunteers spend their mornings downtown collecting dead or stunned birds that have collided into buildings.
In the fall, you'll start seeing warblers coming, and then sparrows. And in kind of towards the end of the season, in November, we see a lot of American woodcocks.
Liu says since they began monitoring collisions 5 years ago, they've collected thousands of fallen birds. Nathan May is a volunteer with the Trinity River Audubon Center.
In the last 50 years, bird populations in North America have declined by 3 billion. Billion with a B. And this 3 billion, that's a big percentage of the birds.
He says it's important to keep track of bird populations because of their crucial role in the environment.
Where birds thrive, people prosper.
Now this group of advocates hopes the city of Dallas will sign on to making the next design of the convention center more friendly to birds. Caitlin Parkins is with the American Bird Conservancy. She works to educate architects, engineers, and the general public on bird-safe buildings. She says artificial light at night and reflective glass are two factors that cause collisions.
This is glass that might reflect something like trees or vegetation, something that the birds would like to fly to. Birds don't recognize reflections in glass as reflections. They see it as reality.
She says one way to reduce collisions is turning off lights at night. Another is installing patterned glass, which birds can see from a distance.
And they recognize those pattern elements as solid barriers, and they turn around and fly the other way.
There's already one good example of a building that's been redesigned to be bird-friendly. That's the Javits Center in New York City. Before it was renovated in 2012, it was killing thousands of birds each year. Mei-Ling Liu with the Texas Conservation Alliance says after the center installed bird-safe glass,
the reduction for bird casualty dropped 90 to 95%.
She and other conservationists hope Kay Bailey Hutchinson will follow suit. Dallas Assistant City Manager Robin Bentley said in a written memo in early September that the convention center's design team is considering the data collected by volunteers and will incorporate it into the new design. Liu says protecting birds protects the whole ecosystem.
Birds are really important when it comes to providing the ecological services in bird pest control or in pollinating our plants and in providing biodiversity support.
So by rethinking the design of the convention center, Dallas can help save the lives of thousands of birds, she says, and improve the city as a whole. I'm Pablo Arauz Peña in Dallas.
In Victoria, Fire Marshal Annette V. Ponce appeared on the latest episode of the City of Victoria's Town Talk podcast. She discussed the fire department's outreach programs and shares fire safety tips. One of the department's outreach initiatives aims to protect residents by putting working smoke detectors in every home in the city. The latest episode of Town Talk can be found on YouTube via Victoria, Texas videos and on Spotify. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.